There are over 7,000 known magical spells in the Marvel Universe, but who is their greatest user? Who can wield the mystic arts to their fullest potential and cast spells that defy even death itself? Allow me to introduce you to Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth 616. But how did he get these powers? Doctor Strange was once Dr. Stephen Vincent Strange, a brilliant but arrogant neurosurgeon. But after botching an operation, his hands were permanently damaged, ending his career as a surgeon. Desperate for a solution, he went in search of a new treatment and ended up in the Himalayas, where he found the Ancient One, a powerful sorcerer who took him in as a student. After years of training, Stephen became her apprentice, the new Sorcerer Supreme. He donned the Eye of Agamotto and Cloak of Levitation and became the protector of Earth from magical and cosmic threats. Since then, he has become one of the most powerful magic users in the multiverse, capable of manipulating reality itself. So let's break down how he does it with a look at his history, abilities, and gear, including what makes the Eye of Agamotto such a powerful artifact. Then stick around to see what Doctor Strange would need to do to defeat some of his deadliest foes. Can he protect Earth from the likes of Dormammu or Thanos? This is Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange first appeared in Strange Tales issue number 110 back in July of 1963. He was created by legendary comic book duo Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. The story established many elements that would become staples of the character, including his origin story as a skilled surgeon who loses the use of his hands, his journey to Kamartaj to seek help, and his encounter with the Ancient One. The story also introduced some of his most iconic enemies, like Baron Mordo, who was initially the Ancient One's apprentice until jealous rage turned him to the dark side. And it also teased the existence of other dimensions and alternate realities, which would become a recurring theme in Doctor Strange's adventures. While Doctor Strange shares similarities with other iconic magicians like Merlin, Gandalf, and Zeus, he's also quite distinct from them. For starters, his powers come from his mastery of the mystic arts rather than any inherent magical lineage, and his abilities reflect that. Doctor Strange doesn't have any innate magical abilities before studying under the Ancient One. He learns how to manipulate reality through his own willpower and focus. This emphasis on mental discipline as a source of power sets him apart from other magic users, especially since he doesn't rely on external sources like wands, staffs, or amulets. Instead, he draws his power from within himself. In a way, this mirrors his original profession as a surgeon. Both surgery and magic require precision, focus, and control. It's all about making the right moves at the right time. And Doctor Strange applies the lessons he learned as a surgeon to his magical practice. Of course, being a superhero isn't just about cool powers. It's also about protecting the innocent and fighting for what's right, and Doctor Strange is no exception. Despite his initial arrogance and self-centeredness, becoming Sorcerer Supreme changes him as a person. He puts the needs of others before his own and uses his powers to defend those who can't and defend themselves. His journey from a self-absorbed surgeon to a selfless hero is one of the things that makes him so relatable and inspiring. He shows us that we can all change for the better if we put our minds to it. In fact, his title as Sorcerer Supreme was actually bestowed upon him by the Ancient One when she deemed him worthy. It's not just a title, though. It's a responsibility and a burden that comes with protecting the world from mystical threats. In this role, he is often called upon to face cosmic-level threats that could destroy not only our planet, but all of existence. He's faced off against beings like Nightmare, Shumagorath, and Umar, to name just a few. In these battles, he has had to use every ounce of his power and skill to protect the innocent and preserve the balance between good and evil. It's a heavy burden to carry, but one that Doctor Strange takes seriously. His bravery and determination in the face of such great evil is truly inspiring. He never backs down from a fight, no matter how hopeless the odds may seem. So what kind of powers does Doctor Strange possess? Well, it would take ours to list every single one since he has access to over 7,000 spells. But we can go over some of his favorites, like teleportation, which he can use to instantly transport himself or others to different locations. This power is incredibly useful, allowing him to quickly traverse the globe or even travel to different dimensions. He's also got telekinesis, which means he can move objects with his mind instead of using his hands. This ability is particularly handy when he is fighting enemies who can't be harmed in any other way. With telekinesis, he can toss around cars, buildings, asteroids, and even planets. Oh yeah, Doctor Strange can also manipulate time itself, allowing him to speed it up, slow it down, or even reverse it in some cases. Now, this power comes with a lot of responsibility and risks, but when used correctly, it can be incredibly helpful. For instance, he can use time manipulation to heal wounds or undo mistakes, or even send his enemies back to the past to live out their days as dinosaurs. Another one of his coolest abilities is the casting of protective spells, which allows him to create barriers and shields to protect himself and others from harm. These spells can take various forms, from simple force fields to elaborate magical wards, each with its own unique properties and applications. For example, he can also cast offensive spells, which allow him to attack his enemies from a distance without having to get up close and personal. These spells can take the form of energy blasts, magical projectiles, or even solid objects. It's like having the ultimate long-range weapon at your disposal. He can also use his powers to cast illusions, creating false images and perceptions to deceive his enemies or to protect himself and others. Illusions are incredibly versatile, allowing Doctor Strange to create realistic or abstract images that can appear in various forms, such as visual projections, auditory hallucinations, or even tactile sensations. And then there's the artifacts that Doctor Strange can use to enhance his powers. One of the most iconic is the Eye of Agamotto, which gives the Sorcerer Supreme access to the Vishanti, the collective knowledge of the mystic arts accumulated over centuries. This artifact allows him to cast spells with greater ease and power, as well as providing him with enhanced knowledge and understanding of magic. He's also got the Cloak of Levitation, which is more than just a cool accessory. It actually gives him the ability to levitate and enhances his teleportation powers. Plus, it's got a mind of its own and can even protect him from harm. And then there's his trusty wand, which is basically an extension of his will. He can use it to focus his magical energy and cast spells with greater precision. It's like a high-tech laser pointer for wizards. And with all these tools at his disposal, Doctor Strange is truly a force to be reckoned with. But how exactly does he defeat some of his most dangerous foes? Let's start with Dormammu, the terrifying ruler of the Dark Dimension. To defeat Dormammu, Doctor Strange must outwit him using his vast knowledge of the mystic arts and his ability to manipulate time and space. In their epic battles, Strange has used his powers to trap Dormammu in different dimensions or even reverse time to prevent Dormammu's invasion of Earth altogether. He's also taken on the Mad Titan Thanos, one of the most powerful and dangerous villains in the Marvel Universe. In his encounters with Thanos, Doctor Strange has used his magic to try to outmaneuver and overpower the Mad Titan, but Thanos' immense strength and durability make him a tough opponent. Even with his powers, Strange has struggled to defeat Thanos, but he's managed to hold his own and even gain victories in some alternate timelines. He's also faced off against Nightmare, the ruler of the Dream Dimension, who preys on the fears and dreams of mortals. In these battles, Doctor Strange has used his magic to manipulate the Dream Realm, turning Nightmare's own powers against him. Strange has also battled the Elder God Shumagorath, an immensely powerful being from beyond the confines of our universe. These battles are truly epic, often taking place across multiple dimensions and timelines. And Doctor Strange has relied on his vast knowledge and experience to defeat this other dimensional horror. When facing off against these cosmic-level threats, Doctor Strange relies on his wits and strategic thinking as much as his raw magical power. He's often outmatched in terms of strength and durability, so he has to use his environment and his knowledge of magic to gain the upper hand. For example, he might use teleportation to confuse his enemy, use illusions to distract them, or manipulate time to weaken them. And when all else fails, he can always rely on his trusty cloak and the Eye of Agamotto to save the day. The Sorcerer Supreme is truly a master strategist, and his ability to think on his feet is what often makes the difference between victory and defeat. So who do you think could challenge Doctor Strange? And how do you think he would fare against other powerful magic users like Scarlet Witch or Gandalf? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay mystical and keep casting your spells.